With us, let's now focus on the proceedings before the National Dialogue Committee at the Bomas of Kenya, chaired by Senior Counsel Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and the National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, and the proposals presented by different stakeholders, including the Law Society of Kenya with its president here, and also the Center for Multi-Party Democracy that is represented this morning here on the broadcast by Franklin Mukwanja. And I come to you first before we get the accounts of the politicians, Eric, and you vehemently are opposed, for example, to the creation, one of the major proposals of the official opposition leader's office. And what is the reason? What are the justifications? Why are you opposed to that?
Basically, we don't see that position fitting within the architectural structure of the Constitution. And it will mean that we need to overhaul the entire Constitution to achieve the creation of that office. When you take into consideration the fact that this committee has been set up to achieve cohesion, the campaigns that would be associated with a referendum to establish this office is one that is likely to cause even more division. And when you look at it, we are going through a very difficult situation, high cost of living, and because of all those considerations, I think that we have to live with the current structure as we have, and just ensure that we implement our Constitution a little bit much more faithfully. Once we do that, we should be able to realize the fruits of the new Constitution that we have. It's not so new now. So that's the real reason why we are opposed to it. Our analysis is that we are in some sort of tension as a country, not because we have a bad Constitution, but because we do not implement it faithfully.
Okay. Is that largely then a responsibility on the part and failure by those who ought to be implementing the Constitution 13 years since we had promulgated it?
Yes, indeed. It's largely a failure on mostly the executive, largely a failure on the part of Parliament, and so that we should be looking inwards. The two institutions should really be looking at themselves and saying, can we do this? Can we take our oaths much more seriously? And ensure that we heal this country, because if you remember, the experiences that we went through in prior to enacting the Constitution are what informed most of those provisions. There was people felt there was a bloated cabinet. They said, no, we want to limit the number of cabinet positions to this much. That there was too much power within the executive. They said, no, we want to spread this power and move it from the center to the devolved units. So those were the experiences of the country. If you look at when you set up the office of the Inspector General of Police, the office of the DPP, and the manner and the language that is used in the Constitution is to ensure that we never go back to those days when the country was ruled by, fiat and disregard to good governance. If you look at Article 10 in terms of what it says to be our national values and principles, patriotism and all that. So the structure of the Constitution looked at as a whole appears designed to take us, never to take us back to those years and to take us into a new promise. But why haven't we realized that promise? We haven't realized that promise because of selfish political reasons, because of people trying to claw back on those provisions of the Constitution and attempting to take us back to a majoritarian leadership where the head of the executive then becomes, above the constitution.
Okay.
And that's the challenge we face as a country, in our view currently.
We'll talk